SpaceRadio.net. It's the station.
Thank you for tuning in to Enjoy Your Morning Show. Let them know. Babe, let them know that the camera. So, hey, it is Sunday morning, and like I say, that is a wall, that is a door, that is a ceiling, this is a floor, and this is a good morning. We have to speak it, we have to decree it, we have to declare it, put it in the atmosphere, because as we know, it might be a wall there today, but with some effort, that could also be a doorway of opportunity. So that's the way I think of our words, that no matter what is going on, our words can be that wall, that used to be that wall, and create a door. So good morning, good morning. So today, I thank y'all for tuning in. We do have a special guest coming and joining us, Miss Stacy Lloyd. But I want y'all to be mindful that we are going to recap a great day that we had yesterday, taping our hair show. Great energy. I loved it. I loved it. I loved it. So let's get ready for our guest to come on in. We're going to have Stacy come in. All right. Come on. Let's
Good morning. Good morning. Now, you know my name is Rosa. I don't know why you're doing that. I thank you for having me once again this morning.
I didn't have you again. No, are you?
What? The announcements. The people need to hear what's going on. So, we're going to just get ready to enjoy. There we go.
Oh.
We're going to get ready to enjoy our morning. What way do I look? Did we do a camera check? We did a mic check already?
Just look straight ahead.
Can you hear me in this one? Can you hear me? Do I need to put the headset on?
You do not need. I don't think it's gonna fit.
Oh, okay.
You have your hat on.
I had to recuperate last week because them fireworks had my heart palpitating. I had to take 2 blood pressure pills. Don't tell my doctor, because you know you're supposed to do it the way that it says on the medicine.
July was couple weeks ago.
And they still sound like gunshots. Had me scared. All my cats was running all around crazy. It was a mess.
Oh, Lord.
But I still was able to get you to the video, which was good. My grandbaby was helping me with it.
Thank you.
But she had started taping, and I was grabbing my hot chocolates. And I didn't know. When they do their video, you know, it's all right. They got it all edited and everything. But I'm going to go ahead and get into these announcements.
Oh, I do
since
have
you
a
got
guest
me on as a special guest. Thank you. I do feel special.
Oh, okay.
I do feel special.
All right.
Thank you, baby.
Just go ahead, Ms.
Thank
Rosa.
you. So, ladies, don't forget the rummage sale this week. It's an opportunity to get rid of those things that's not worth keeping. Things that you got just laying around the house. Wilma, you could bring your husband, because he ain't worth keeping. Wilma had invited me to her husband's birthday party last month, and I really didn't want to go, and so I was trying to think of anything to say to her, you know. So I told her, I said, listen, I don't know your husband well enough, you know, to get him a proper gift. And so she said, well, you know, you can get him something that he can't get for himself. And I said, what, like a job? Because I heard he can't get that. Ain't worth keeping. I tell you, ain't worth it. We got to be honest with one another. If I call her my sister, you know.
Wow.
Yeah, so don't forget to bring your stuff down to the rummage sale.
Ouch.
The weight loss support group will be meeting this Tuesday at 6 p.m. Maintenance is asking that we enter through the double doors on the side of the building. They said that we are wearing out the hinges on the front door. Oh, Earl, that's what we doing now? That's what we doing now? That's okay. That's okay. Because when I lose that weight, what Mike Jones said, back then they didn't want me. Now I'm hot, they all on me. That's all right. That's all right. This young guy had walked up to me in the store last week, just last week. And he walked up on me and he said, I've been reading the Bible in the book of Numbers, and I realized I don't have yours. I said, oh, you don't want my number, sir. You won't be breaking this hip. I just got this hip. But listen, if I was a cougar, I would have, he was something. I said, yo, dude, go ahead with that, Satan. I know when Satan coming for me.
Woo.
He had the baby hair. He got Indian in his family too. I'm telling you, he was sharp. I can't be doing all that. So the child tax credit checks have dropped this week. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
People out there.
Yeah. So now y'all can go get some new garments that actually fit and stop wearing your baby's clothes. I'm telling you, this is ridiculous. There's a lot of boobs and bellies, booty cheeks and butt cracks out there. They everywhere. This is ridiculous. Yeah. Listen, ladies. Some of y'all have bodies and some of y'all don't. Okay? Now, some of y'all use mirrors and some of y'all won't. But listen, let me clear my throat. Listen. Because some of y'all have friends, you know, that'll tell y'all the truth about, you know, what y'all got going on. But some of y'all friends is just as ratchet as you are. So y'all just both, we got to figure this thing out. We're going to figure this thing out together as a community. We're gonna reach out to the mayor's office about that. We're going to make sure y'all get that information. And let me tell you something, fellas, just in case you didn't get the memo. We don't want to see your drawers. Now, this is enough of that. Booty stinking everywhere. Listen, this is not, we don't feel like all that's too much. But as a community, we're going to figure this thing out. Is that all right? Whoever stole the extra AC unit out the church closet, keep it, because you're going to need it where you're going. Oh, Lord. We regret to inform you that Janet is no longer with us on the choir. Janet, your march is off. Your march is off. You're throwing the whole choir off, okay? And you can't sing worth a lick. Now, I'm tired of it. Now, just because your jaw's shaking and vibrating when you sing, it don't make you no Shirley Caesar. And that's enough of that. And since I'm being honest with you, listen, your robe is filthy. It's filthy. And I keep telling you, you got to wear clothes underneath it. You got to wear clothes underneath it. And you know what? You might as well go ahead and keep it. Because we're not going to be able to get them armpit stains out. I doubt it. And that's probably why Charles left you. Because I can imagine what he's smelling when he's trying to make love to you or something. It's
Okay,
just,
I think we're getting off of the announcements.
Okay.
I think that's enough.
oh, okay, baby. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Ain't nothing wrong with that.
No.
I'm going to go ahead and, you know, like I said, I do feel special, and I surely do appreciate you, and I appreciate everything that you're doing for the community and making sure everybody's having a good morning and getting everything all together. Excuse me, I'm sorry, baby. Hello. Slow down, Gladys. I can't hear nothing you're saying. You're talking. Who's that? It's in the communion closet. All right, calm down. We got time. I'm on my way. I'm on my way, Gladys. They can't do nothing without me. They can't do nothing without me. This is ridiculous.
All right, thank you.
You're so welcome. You're so welcome, and I truly appreciate it. Y'all got to adjust these chairs. These things, this is a hazard. They got the wheels on it, rolling around and everything.
Well, it was adjusted.
It's like a walker and a chair at the same time. This is nice, but at the same time, it's too much for me. Where'd I leave my offering meeting?
This is not a service, Miss Rosa.
You're not taking no offering?
No, we don't take an offering here.
Okay.
We don't take an offering.
Okay.
All
right, baby. Well, I'll see you next week, all right? I'll see you next week, baby.
You don't have to.
It's
all
all right.
You don't have to worry about it.
Love you, baby. Be blessed. Hey. Enjoy your morning. All right, baby. I'll see you later.
Y'all, I apologize. We have our special guest, Stacy. Can you come in? I'm sorry. I apologize for that. I don't know. She sees the post and she sees the invite, but the invite is to go on the live, not to come in live. And so, hey everybody, welcome to the Enjoy Your Morning Show. Stacy,
Good morning.
My sister is in the house. How you feeling?
I am blessed. I actually enjoyed the morning service. I learned a lot. Yes.
Michelle. Hey, Michelle. John, Schamberger, Dante. Hey, say yo. Callista's watching. Michelle said she's hilarious. Laugh out loud.
Yes.
Poor Janet. I thought she was gonna say the Lord took her home. right. All right, y'all. Good morning. Thank y'all for tuning in. We get ready to get started. So Stacy and I were part of the hair recording that we did yesterday. We had such a great conversation.
Yes.
So we're just gonna kind of talk about some points about that we were talking about in the hair show, just reflecting. And the thing is, the title of the show was Hair Ye. And it's focused on you are the judge and the jury of your hair. And good hair, we always say what good hair was and good hair is. Good hair is healthy hair. So just talking about the things that we deal with as African Americans dealing with our hair, whether it's a man or a woman, and even if, you may not per se have that issue, you may know someone that has that issue. So our first video that we looked at was the Dove campaign with the Crown Act, talking about discrimination in the workplace. And as of right now, only 13 states have went ahead and passed a law to stop discrimination against hair. So that kind of bothers me a little bit, that we still have a lot of people that are like, I want to discriminate. Why did you want to discriminate? So we talked about the discrimination part. So
Are they, because I didn't look into it as much as I should have, but are they talking about what the real issue really is?
nope, they just saying that you can't fire somebody or not hire somebody. And it's weird because you kind of got it, you already have it in there. You can't fire somebody or because of race, gender, all of that, but not hair.
I was thinking, because in the military, when I was in, you couldn't wear extensions or anything like that, but you're signing up to put your life on the line, to fight for your country. But it was at one point where you could be dishonorably discharged if you wore protective styles. But you were signing up, you're willing to go overseas and fight for your country and the freedom of others. But the mere fact that you decided to wear your hair a certain way that doesn't go in the uniform of the way they see it, a lot of black women got written up and even dismissed as a result of their hair, even though they were willing to give their life.
I'm glad that you brought that up, because even in preparation for the hair show, I saw a video, and she was in her Army gear. Mm-hmm. And she shared it live with, she was, in her Army gear. So that's what made me look at it. It's like, okay, this is somebody who's in the Army. Mm-hmm. And I wanted to share it, but it was on Facebook, so I wasn't able to share it yesterday. but she was talking about how she went through a process
Yes.
because she had her hair braided.
Yeah, I saw that, and she was almost dismissed, but they fought it, and she was like a senior ranking officer who had contributed a lot, and the mere fact that she did not want to change her hair, and I think the one thing that some companies or military or law enforcement departments don't understand is our hair takes a different kind of maintenance. It takes us a little longer. And so we want it as neat as possible. We want it as presentable as possible so that it's not a distraction, even for us, or we keep pushing it back or trying to put it in place. So we pay a lot of money. It's not even that we go and throw something together. Sometimes even wearing braids can cost up to $200-300 to get done, just so we can have a neat appearance. So it's costly for us to try to look a certain way and look professional. And even through all of that, people cannot see. People can't see what we're trying to do to make sure we maintain a level of professionalism.
Exactly. And in the Dove video, it actually started out with two young ladies who were suspended from school. One because she had braids, the other because she had hair extensions. And they told her that if she wanted to wear her hair extensions, she had to have a doctor's note. And I'm like, are you kidding me? I'm like, I've heard, and that's the first time I heard about the extensions. I heard about the braids, but you know, her hair was straight and she had extensions. I'm like, so you're examining her hair?
That's what I was just wondering. How do you know I have extensions? And you know, almost every culture now, females get extensions. So, I mean, everybody to lengthen it. How do we know now who has what? And, you know, like Kiara, she said, even talking to her, some people believe that her hair isn't hers. So now it's questioning is, I mean, I'm not sure if you ever had that, but is that yours? Mm-hmm. So now people have to determine if it's my hair or not to determine what their next course of action is going to be.
And it's interesting how, especially when it's straight, it's okay for you to wear someone else's hair, but it's not okay for you to wear your hair. Wow. We don't even think about it like that too much. Okay, you would rather me wear someone else's hair so that you can feel comfortable than to wear my own hair. Hey, Marcy, John Schamberger, thank you for the stars. Cousin Quenda, all the way from South Carolina, thank you for tuning in. Michelle said, what? Charles, thank you for tuning in. Marsha, wow, thank you for tuning in. Good time. Thank y'all. We talking about hair today. We talking, and it's not just hair itself, but all the stuff that's coming with it. Mm-hmm. In this current time and age, why are we still struggling with passing laws so that we can wear our hair? It's kind of interesting. I had shared, you know, one of my experiences where after 2 years in April, and when I went to work, they was like, what did you do to your hair? And my thought was, right now, I didn't do anything. You should have been asking me that yesterday or last week what I did, because then I had to get it braided, get tracks on it, then get it pressed. That's when I was actually doing something to my hair. But now that I'm just, you know, wetting it and going, now you ask me what I'm doing. When it's even the less work, but it's just interesting how people have to feel like, you know, they have to be comfortable. Why do you have to be comfortable with my hair? I'm the one that has to do it. So I see some females and some males on here. If y'all got some, go on, take your time. You got something to say about an experience or, you know, some thoughts about dealing with our hair, the way that we're treated, the way things have happened, go ahead and take your time. We got some time for you to go ahead and type that in, and I'm gonna keep an eye out for your comments. So we looked at the Dove, and that was about the campaign to just give us the right to be able to just wear our hair and not be discriminated against. But the Army officer, she said she was going through a lot and literally almost about to get kicked out. Yeah. And then they passed the law. Yes. Where she was able to wear her braids. And her friends, she didn't even know it at the time. And that's one thing we got to be careful. There are a lot of laws being passed that we do not know about.
Yeah.
And we definitely got to talk about. We may not talk about it today, but that voting thing it came to Pennsylvania, and they trying to get that foolishness passed in Pennsylvania. And I'm like, how can you logically? I said I was going to talk about it, but how can you logically say you are wrong? There's a problem with you, and you should go to jail or be penalized for giving somebody a bottle of water while they're standing in line to vote. What kind of person says that? So if I'm walking down the street,
bringing that here.
they're trying to bring, because it started in Georgia. Georgia was the one. So I didn't look at the ones that Pennsylvania has listed yet, but they just said Pennsylvania, the Republicans are bringing that to Pennsylvania. Not sure. Again, I haven't looked at what the list of Pennsylvania's criterias are, but they did list the one with Georgia where you just can't help somebody. I'm like, that's just humanity. You're taking humanity out of people. Oh, ma'am, you've been standing in this line for a while. Let me get you a bottle of water. Oh, I'm sorry, I might go to jail for that.
I remember in a few states, like there's a large homeless population, and if you gave them food or gave them water, you can be cited because they almost look at them like you're feeding a stray cat. And if you do that, they're going to continue to want you to, but that's a biblical principle. There's a biblical principle in giving. In fact, if you look at the Old Covenant, and I always have to get scriptural, but in the Old Covenant, God told the children of Israel to leave 10% of their land with the tithe so that the widower, the Levitical priest, and the people living in poverty can take it. So they took 90% and they had to leave 10% for the people. Yeah. And now they're creating laws where you can't even give water. And at one point you can't even give homeless people food or anything, or you can receive a summons.
That's crazy.
For feeding them.
And it is biblical. And even in some areas in the Bible, they would say they would leave when they start to pick, like say pick corn. Yes. They would leave corn out in the field that the widows and the homeless could come and grab it. You can see it where Ruth, they were doing that for Ruth. Yes. They was like, even though Boaz was hot on her, he know he was hot on her. He was feeling her too. She was feeling him. He was feeling her. He's like, nah, leave an extra couple baskets. Not just a couple. Yeah. He was like, nah, I want her to go home full. So in Ruth, you'll see that where they actually left behind some of the food on the ground so that they could come out and pick it because they knew that she there, without family and all that stuff. So you'll find it right there, but right there in Ruth.
Just pure humanity. But I just wanted to ask you another question, and this I never play devil's advocate ever because I won't play his advocate for anything. But so when we talk about hair and a standardized way of wearing it, I have been seeing some interesting hair. If I go into a place of business and someone has like lime green hair, all lime green or all pink or yellow, that catches me off guard. And I'm like, and they're like, well, I could do whatever, but it can be a distraction. So it's different for me, and it makes me feel, I don't know why I would feel uncomfortable about it, but then you have other cultures who are uncomfortable about the way I wear my hair. So what's the connection and comfort? Do we need to feel comfortable about how somebody who works with us or look like us, like there's some connection. Either you work with them or you are of the same ethnicity, but there's some connection that may or may not cause discomfort. So where do we draw the line when we say people should have the right to wear their hair any kind of way they want to?
Yeah, you got a point there, and it's interesting that they'll be more acceptable to the pink cotton candy color hair than to our curly hair. So you got a point there. I like that. You got to think about that. We got to think about that. Are we accepting other people? It does kind of like, because it's not normal. Yeah. So I guess we got to kind of be understanding because it depends on where you are. There are still some people. Tara shared with us yesterday that, you know, when she went to college, that there were some people who genuinely, and when you went to, you know, to the service, that don't know black people. The only black people they see are the people on the TVs, and unfortunately, that's through cops in the news. So you can kind of understand what the imagery is when, you know, they see someone. So we do have to think about the full dynamic of, are we shocked when we see the cotton colored candy hair or the Smurf blue hair or something, you know?
And the judgment, like you have to measure, like we don't like to be judged. It's something, it may be something different about us that somebody's like, but then when we see somebody and we form the judgment internally, but yet and still we're fighting for the right to express ourselves, whether in hair, whether in clothing, whether in, you know, whoever you decide to be, we're fighting to express our own individuality. But then we see somebody, who's different from us, and the judgment. You can tell when you're judging that situation. Like I was saying last week, we see with our brain, we see with our perception, we see how we think, and our visual cortex will go to something that it just really draws our attention. It could be a million people in the supermarket, but when you see lime green hair and the person appears to be like 67, because I've been seeing that, and I'm like,
she going through a phase. Look, that's the first we got
like,
thoughts.
where we going? And then I'm like, but I really feel it. I'm like, wow, just judge that person. That person came out, they looked in the mirror, they was excited about what they saw. That's their uniqueness. That's their individuality. And here I am saying, you know, who am I? Who am I to do that when that person felt good about their expression for that day, that moment? Who am I?
You gotta think about that.
Really?
Gotta think about, are we giving out what we're asking to be given to us?
That's it. That's
yeah,
it.
You got a point
That's
there.
it.
You can,
That's it.
Yeah, every now and then you're like, wait a minute, what are you doing? But then that's the same thing that we say don't do to us. So.
Exactly.
I hear it. Marsha said true. Thank you, Queen. The other video that we looked at was the doll video, where they did the study for the children with the white doll and the black doll, and how majority of the black kids called the white doll nice, but the black doll was bad. And in the video, the lady actually said, you know, they're answering the questions, you know, but when they got to that last question and said, what doll represents you? Basically, all the kids were hesitant because they know that the black doll represented them, but they called the black doll bad, and they struggled with that. And they said there was some that even because of they called the black doll bad, they picked that white doll and said the white doll looked like them because they didn't want to say they were the bad doll. They didn't want to say they looked like the bad doll. So it was a struggle just watching some of them videos, seeing how the kids struggled. But I didn't see that struggle till the lady pointed it out, how the kids was like, when you say, which one looks like you? It's like, ooh, that one looks like me, but I call that one bad. I don't really want that one to be me. And how they would say, yeah, that one looks like me. And I'm like, wow, that is an identity issue. Yes. If you say, I'm going to say I look like the white doll because I've already said the bad doll is black. And I'm like, wow. And we wonder why we have, and these are kids. These are not adults. These are kids that's struggling with identity because of what something was labeled. Because the black doll was labeled bad, they said, you know what, I don't think I want to be black. I'm going to say I'm white in this situation because of how I feel.
My mind is always racing, and here I am on the other side of things. But I was wondering, so that study was conducted, because I watched it over and over, where they actually showed the video of the kids in the room. But I'm wondering today, because we have different images, and kids are now identifying with a different image. I can't say so much skin color more than lifestyle, more than, it's really like the image to be accepted based on what they're seeing from day to day. So I wonder what would happen. Not if you use like a basic baby doll, not those dolls. Because I was looking at those dolls, I was like, really, I don't want to be either one of them. They look crazy. But now in the image of our kids, what image would these kids much rather identify with? Is it black, white, lifestyle, body type? Because that's huge for our young females. Would you rather be this body type? I think it's body type more than anything now. You know, with Snapchat, they make their skin lighter, eyes lighter, bigger, whatever. I think it's body type more than color. The whole image thing is just different. So I wonder if you did that experiment.
Would you say that now the dolls have changed to social medias? Because they said, do you want to be like this one? Which one is good? Which one is bad? And I think as we scroll, good, bad, good, bad. Oh, I want to be like that one. Oh, I don't want to be like that one. So it seems like it kind of just transferred.
Yeah. And I'm thinking, like, do kids even play with dolls? The kid be like, I want to be an iPad. Because that's what they playing with. They don't want to be a doll. I want to be an iPad.
It's virtual. Everything's virtual.
Yes. I don't want to be that. I don't understand
unless
what that
you know
is.
it's intentional that screen time down. Some families are making it intentional to try to get rid of that screen time. So there were some people doing it, but why would I play with a doll when I can dance? Make this doll virtually dance.
Don't compare me to the doll. Show me these new Instagram stars, and I bet you if you have a business woman and you have some Instagram star, which one do you feel like you can relate more to? But which one are you really? And the regular person might hurt their feelings like, I relate more to this one because I don't have the money to be this one. And then you'll see that's an experiment in itself.
Wow.
Image. We're talking about hair, but it's hair, it's body, it's mind, it's everything. When we're talking about how we see ourselves and specifically how children see themselves.
Wow, the image that we see, that's interesting. That would you relate to more of a businesswoman or someone in the street? And like, well, I'm gonna relate more to that because I don't have the money, I don't have the clothes, I don't have the house, but you can get those things. So, Marcia says systemic racism runs very deep, so deep. Tawanda, happiness Sunday. Good morning, Tawanda. So another video we looked at was "Don't Touch My Hair."
Yes.
Woo! So we talked about different experiences, and almost everybody had some type of experience where somebody wanted to touch their hair. Stacey, can you share your experience? That was awesome.
Yeah, so when I was in the military, I joined the military in 1991. Yes, I'm dating myself. But I joined the military in 1991, and I was in a Bay Area. It was about 50 females. I could say 95% white females. And I remember this one white female, she was just in awe. Like, she was looking at us. I think she was from Rhode Island. But she was just in awe, like, wow, And she asked a few of us if she can touch our skin. And I'm like, what? And a few of the black females in the Bay Area was like, what? I was so silly back then. I'm like, go ahead. And she wanted to touch our hair. I'm like, go ahead. But she just couldn't believe, like, can I see what your skin feel like? And so in the military, we take a shower in one big area, like there's no doors, no nothing. And so when we're all taking a shower, she's like, wow, you guys are black in the middle too? And I'm like, what? So she thought we were like white from the neck down. And I'm like, okay, uncomfortable. Like, this is awkward enough. It's time to turn these showers off. But she just couldn't believe it. She was like, wow, like you guys are black. She thought that was like just from the neck and our hands and probably the bottom of our legs. But I was like, what in the backwards?
That is crazy.
Yeah, it was crazy.
I'm like, wow.
Yeah, it was awkward. But like I said, we ended up being like really, really good friends for a long time. And she just had questions every night. Lights were out maybe about 8 o'clock. We probably stayed up to like 11 o'clock. She just had so many questions, where I was from, my family, how we do things. It was just, I'm like, man, I used to stay up with her all night just answering questions. I mean, that was just the highlight. She didn't even think about the military anymore. It was all about us. And we, like I said, we became like really good friends. Yeah.
While you're saying that, made me think of, I don't remember where I saw it, what show or link I saw it on, where the young lady said the white guy came up to her and asked if he could taste her to see if she tastes like chocolate. I'm like, what? So, I mean, it was a model. Matter of fact, she was a model. And she was talking about the awkward experiences because she, when it came to going to a set and the hairstylist did not know how to do her hair.
I heard those
and
stories.
then she talked about how she had a guy, she's like, do you taste like chocolate? He was like, she said, taste yourself. She actually didn't let him touch her. She said, taste yourself, and that's the same thing. You know, we
taste yourself to see if you taste like vanilla, and then if you get a flavor, then we'll take it from
then
there.
we can, yeah, if you
We'll
taste
take
like
it from
vanilla,
there.
we can
You
talk
tell
about
me
it.
what you taste like. But he probably was going somewhere else with that one.
Exactly.
She didn't even catch on
She
to
didn't
that.
catch it. She worried about her hair.
Yeah.
So these were some of the topics that we had. So I just wanted to kind of bring it out because we got to have these conversations because we're dealing with it now.
Yes.
And we really talked a lot about our young people. Mm-hmm. And Tara was sharing how she speaks to her daughter because she says beautiful beautiful daughter. That's what she says. She calls her when she wakes up. She calls her beautiful daughter, so that her daughter is used to hearing that she is beautiful, so that she can be comfortable in her skin. Because we gotta start the thing. We got programming, TV programming. Yes. That is what it's doing. It's programming us to think that this is what's in, this is what's new, this is what's good, this is what's best. So we got to make sure that we're counteracting the programming that our kids are seeing and making sure that they know who they are, that they're happy about who they are, because they already said that a lot of the kids are being depressed through social media because they're trying to compare to the images that they see. And how can you compare to a filter?
And that's the thing. When I've been studying a lot about depression, specifically with our young people, and since COVID, there has been an increase in suicide amongst our young people, and it wasn't necessarily COVID. It was Snapchat, they said, and Instagram, and they have this image. So a lot of our young people who can afford it have been going through plastic surgery because they want to look like their Snapchat. They go through the filters and they're like, this is how I want to look. When they can't look like that or can't afford it, a lot of them have been committing suicide. Wow. And that's across every spectrum. That's every spectrum, every race. They are fighting to look like this Snapchat. And that's a scary, when we say image is everything, they are basing their image based on likes. And sometimes likes can be a dangerous thing. We're going to get into that again when we talk about social media and the control on the mind, but they look at likes. And when people put a thumbs down, it could be 614 likes and 1 thumbs down, and they focus on the person that did not like it. And so, taking 100 pictures to see which one I should post. But if that one doesn't get the response, you look beautiful. Like one girl, it was like, look at your nose, like your nose is crooked, and she went into depression because she's trying to figure out what angle are they coming from. So that's what we're dealing with. Hair is one thing, but these kids are looking at the totality of their entire external image, and that's scary.
We got some thoughts here. Marcia said, absolutely, Callista, so true. Marcy says, so sad but true. Grown Man said, anything our kids see on TV, they're always competing against each other. Grown Man said, when it comes to their skin tone, yes. Marcy, self-esteem issues, and this social media is playing with the self-esteem, and they feel like if I don't look like that, I'm not worthy. And it's sad, but they got the bullying as well. Between the bullying and the self-esteem, our kids are getting very distracted. So to go to full-time computers now where, they're in school on the computer, then they get off out of school or turn around off of school and go back into the computer. So it kind of like a double whammy because now they're not even getting that off the computer time now where they, when they're going to school or in school. So we do have to be mindful of our kids. And I know in some areas the kids don't have the same outward activities that other communities have. So that makes it even worse when you don't have a community center that you can go to any day of the week. When you don't have, if it's not sports season, where you can go, you have football, basketball, baseball every week or something like that. So we definitely got to make sure that our kids are getting some type of activity outside of these devices because it is affecting our kids in some shape or form. And for some reason they lash out. You're like, why are you mad? You was just sitting there on your phone doing nothing, but something on that phone triggered them, and now they're in a whole nother state of mind.
I was thinking, okay, we say social media, and yesterday I was talking about social media actually amplified it, but I told you, I said even within our communities with us growing up, there was no computers. We had magazines for the most part, but it's even how we are toward each other, where there's a certain style that's out in the community. Like there's some fashion trend that's happening in the community, and if you can't afford it and you don't look like what the community is looking like at that moment, the fashion trend, then that begins to pull at your self-esteem. So we always had a image conflict, like an identity crisis, I like to call it, an identity crisis even before social media, whether it was racism, but we have to accept it. If somebody plants an image out there, as a community, we accepted it where we did not have to. And once we accepted it and then began to plant those seeds or allow somebody else's image of us to dictate what it's going to be, then that's what it is. So it happened even before social media. It's us accepting. Once we accepted it, then we begin to follow that propaganda. So we are going through what I call from the time of, I guess, after slavery, an identity crisis. That's what it boils down to.
That is so true. We look at, say, oh, this superstar has this, let me get that. And then it kind of just trickles down. So Raylene, thank you for tuning in. Marcy said, yes, indeed. Grown Man said, as a kid, I thought I was supposed to be bad. And it is interesting because you always being yelled at for something, and the energy and listen, you ever been in Walmart and a child is doing something and they say, you better stop that, and the child's like, shut up. It's like, okay, the parent is the one that's fronting because that child like, what you mean stop? You don't never tell me to stop. What's wrong with you today? You showing off. Like, you telling the kid that he's showing off, but the parent is the one really showing off because they don't ever tell their child or, discipline their child. Then they get in Walmart, they're like, what you doing? What's wrong with you today? Listen, wait till I get you home.
I never thought about that. My goodness.
Wait till I get you home.
You don't talk like that.
I said, well, it was one time when my sons were little, it's so long ago, but they were little, and this little boy was showing off in the store. And I got so mad, you can't do nothing. I look at myself, you better never ever act like that. I'm like, they looking at me like, we ain't do nothing. Why you yelling at us? I was like, don't you ever act like that, because you act like that, and I'm yelling at them.
Just in case.
Listen, a time to learn, you just better know not to do that. Because it's annoying sometimes. You're like, really, I think you just better order your stuff online. Because that baby don't want to be out.
For Amazon. My goodness.
Yesterday, I didn't get a chance to talk about it, but we started out, we kind of, at the end of the day, it's all about, us and just thinking about the things that we deal with. But it started out with us talking about some details from the hair show that we recorded yesterday, and just doing some, talking about the Dove campaign where they're passing laws to not discriminate, the Dow experiment where, well, not experiment, test where they had the black kids look at the white and black doll. So we talked about that. Don't touch my hair. How people feel like, it's still okay to come up and just touch somebody's hair. And, in this day and time, hey, 6 feet, period. So in some situations, like, hey, back up. That's a crowded area. But Tignon is a law that actually was passed to make colored women cover their hair. It was a law. Mainly they talk about Louisiana in that area, but it was a law that was passed where black women had to colored women. Let me take that back. They said colored women had to cover their hair, and they said the purpose behind this was because the fair-skinned ones, the fair-skinned ladies was getting a little too comfortable. And they were taking all the white men. Wow. So they said, okay, if you have colored blood, you have to wrap your hair so that the men know who the colored people are.
Wow, I never heard of that. My goodness.
So it was like, okay, y'all getting too comfortable. Y'all getting too glamorous. Wow. We have to bring you back down a notch. So wrap that head up, cover that head up, so that we can separate you again. So again, the law to show separation and division because y'all getting too comfortable and y'all getting too cute. You know how they tell the kids be getting sassy. No, you getting cute now, and that's what the law was passed for. And you know what's amazing? This is the encouraging part. They said, you know what? Okay, it's a law, and you know what they did? They started putting flowers, feathers, jewels, and then they even looked better after they passed the law to cover up their hair than they did before. So that's like, oh man, this didn't work. And then they turned around and said, okay, all right, we got to do something else because we tried to cover them up, but then they just glammed that out. You know what? Now you can't wear shoes.
What?
No shoes. If you are a slave, well, not a slave, but a descendant or a colored person, you can't wear no shoes. We gotta separate you. You're getting too cute. You're getting too cute. But guess what? They glammed that out too. They started wearing toe rings and anklets.
You can't take us nowhere.
Listen, you better know we can boss up no matter what they do to us, how they try to suppress us. Now we got voices, so we don't got to deal with it. But even back then, they said, okay, all right, I'll wrap my hair up. And they said that's how church hats started. Because they were putting all kind of fabrics and wrapping it around and rims around. They decked those hats out. And they said that's how church hats started.
Wow.
Because they said, okay, you got to do this. All right, guess what? We going to win. We going to rock this. So, it's just kind of made me think about whatever's thrown at you. Even if you're in a situation where you feel like you can't do anything other but conform, you conform in your way. You take it and you own it. That's what we do. Okay, you want me to wear this? It's mine now, and I'm gonna bedazzle the heck out of this head wrap. But then they did the shoes. Okay, we gotta show them who's the colored people, who's not. We gotta separate them.
Law?
It was a law, and they was decorating them toes. I don't know if they had toe paint, but I'm sure they probably had something. But they were wearing the heck out of those bare feet. So I wanted to encourage us that we're actually getting ready to go. Any more last words before we go to the words of inspiration?
No, I mean, just as I always say, and I said it the last time, you are not who you think you are, but you are what you think. So just discover your gold mine. Know that you are a treasure.
Yes.
Yes.
Remember, work it. Own whatever God has given you. Be content with what you have and own it. Callista said kids are so miserable about their skin color. That's so true. Grown men, little boys had to wear dresses till they were 12. Wow, I didn't know that about that. Wow. Crystal, good morning, Crystal. Marsha, great show. Thank you, Queen. So our word of encouragement this morning will be coming from John 10:10. And it says, the enemy comes only to steal and kill and destroy. And I have come that you may have life. So again, it's a spinoff of, us talking about our hair. And even if you don't have the struggle, you may not, have hair, but you see the struggle with others. And even when you don't have hair, somebody has something to say about that. So just talking about the whole struggle, the enemy comes to kill, steal, and destroy. So my thought today is that the enemy will always try to diss you. This is an old term that we use, but you know what I mean. He's going to always come and try to diss you, make you feel bad, or try to make you look bad. That's an enemy. And one thing you have to be mindful, are you being the enemy? When you go up, are your intentions to make someone else feel bad or make someone else feel beneath you? You need to understand if that is your purpose and that's your goal. And don't try to be like, oh, I'm just trying to tell you the truth. No. And you know in your heart, if you really being truthful and honest, okay, I'm sorry you got toilet paper stuck to your shoe. Okay, we can fix that, move on. That's just you telling me a fact. But if you just telling me, you know what, I think you should wear your hair the other way. That's your opinion. And it's not a good opinion. So you might be being the enemy at that point in time. So we need to be mindful of our conversations. Are we being the enemy that's coming to kill, steal, or destroy something from that person? Chawanda, I have life. All right, girl. So you better have life. So we got to be mindful. This is what the enemy comes to diss you. So if you're doing the dissing, you need to take a step back and say, I want somebody to do this to me. So we got to just keep checking ourselves, because sometimes we can be biased. And we might respond to somebody because of something that we've been through that don't have anything to do with them. So we got to be mindful how we interact with people, just to make sure that we're not in that role. At the end of the day, are you dissing somebody? Are you dissing somebody? And what does diss mean? Diss could mean a couple things. Diss could be disrespect. Are you disrespecting somebody? You can do disruption. Are you disrupting somebody? You can do disturb. All these different disconnect, discombobulated. Are you destroying somebody? Because that's what the enemy does. And we have to be careful that we have to look out for them things. And the thing is that just like when they did that law, their intentions was to bring down the women. Okay, you got to cover your head. We need to separate you, because you and they did it because they were afraid. They were afraid that they were coming up in stature, and they needed to bring that division, that separation again. Okay, no, I need to bring you down low again. You're no longer a slave, but I need to bring you down low, so let me do that. So they were, in a way, dissing the people. You got some thoughts? I hear you.
No, I really can't believe that was a thing. But.
And we got to think about that. That was their purpose. So you got to be mindful of the tricks of the enemy and know how to respond to them. Because you do not have, we're in a place now, it's like, okay, you know what? It's time to go. It's time for me to exit out of here, because you do not have to stay anywhere you don't want to be. And even if I know sometimes in the workplaces, you're like, okay, I can't just get up and leave, but you can actually, change your position. You can end that conversation. You can walk up, go to the break room or something. So you have to be mindful that if you're put in a position where you're being disrespected, you don't always have to lash out. You don't always have to be angry about it, because at the end of the day, when someone comes up and looks at you in a bad way or acts or treats you bad, you got to understand that they'll only call you bad based on your actions. Someone come up and mean, nasty to you, you won't be mean and nasty unless you respond back mean and nasty. So we have to control our actions. And people do that intentionally just so they can set you up. Especially, Jesus. There are times where the enemy will set you up just to make you look bad. But he can't make you look bad unless you act bad. He can tempt you and test you all you want. But again, he can't make you look bad unless you act bad. If you respond bad, that's when they can label you as bad. So we got to be mindful that we're not allowing the enemy to set us up to make us look bad. Because as soon as you start yelling back, look at that angry black man. Look at that angry black woman. And all you did was respond. I'm responding to you poking me. You hitting me. And then you put your hand behind your back. It's like, ooh, I told you she was crazy. Did you see that? Yeah, I saw that, but that's all they saw. They didn't see the provoking. They didn't see the name call. They didn't hear the name calling. They didn't see all the stuff behind the scenes because the enemy was there to dish you, to set you up and make you look bad. So you have to be careful about that. And it also in Matthew 6:19, it says, do not lay up for yourselves treasures on earth, where moth and rust destroy and where thieves break in and steal. We got to be careful that we're making sure where our treasures are in the things of our heart. What are you investing only in money? I know we need money to do things, but are you investing in people? Are you investing in your family? Are you investing in your friends? Are you investing in yourself? So let's make sure that we're doing things that lift up our spirit as well. Enjoy your morning. When we wake up, what are we speaking into our day? Are we allowing our thoughts to run us into a different direction? Are you thinking about traffic as soon as you wake up? Listen, let your first thought be something positive, because in that train will run on. You got some thoughts?
No, I'm just loving it right now.
Callista said, so true, so true. So our scripture again was John 10:10. The enemy comes to steal, kill, and destroy, and I have come that you may have life. We should be bringing people life. We should be bringing people positive energy. So what side are you? Are you on the first part of that, the enemy side, where you're coming to kill, steal, or destroy? Or are you on the latter side of that scripture, where you're coming to bring somebody life? Are you coming to bring somebody joy? Are you coming to bring somebody the positive energy? Because my thing is, you give what you give is what you get. What you sow is what you reap. So that's why we have to be mindful of what we're releasing out, because sometimes we get that back. And sometimes we just may have to check ourselves, like, you know what, I was having a rough day today. And you may have to apologize to some people, because I've seen some people get lashed out at. He's like, wait a minute, I just walked in a room. Whatever had happened before I got here ain't on me. So we just got to be mindful, because the enemy will take us there. But we got to be mindful that that we don't allow him to take us there. Like I stated before, your train of thought. What are you putting on that train? What thoughts? What's running that train? What's moving that train? Energy goes, pushes the train. So we got to be mindful that we're mindful of what our energy is, and that we know that the enemy is coming to diss us, but we don't let our actions make us look bad. It's not what he does that make us look bad. It's what we do that make us look bad. So we are going to wrap it up. And I thank you, Stacy.
No, it's always a pleasure. I learn something every single time. And I always leave here with a sense of purpose. So.
Listen, that's what I love about our energy. We come together, we talk and feel, just encourage each other. So that's what it's about. So what time is it? It's time to enjoy your morning. So go take a walk. Even if it's around your bedroom, get that energy flowing, get that positive energy flowing. Encourage yourself, encourage others. Why? Because you can. So thank y'all for tuning in. So here, that's our day. That's our time. Look, that's our time. We're going to enjoy our day. So enjoy your morning. See you next time.
Bye-bye. God bless.